Be encouraging to one another daily, as long as is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. A little encouragement throughout the day will bring you closer, even when you're physically apart.
And also make time to reset individually. You can't
This is so important.
Yeah, you just can't pour into your marriage if your own tank is on empty. So
you may be one choice away from a thriving marriage. Welcome to the Operation Thriving Marriage podcast with Bryon and Jennifer Harvey.
Welcome to the Operation Thriving Marriage podcast. Bryon and Jennifer Harvey here today. Excited to be sharing with you. This episode, we're going to focus on the busyness of life and how that affects marriage. So have you noticed just how busyness, just the general business of life, can get in the way with connecting sometimes?
Oh, it always does, right? Because it's just that there are tasks to be done and things that need to happen just in, running a household, making sure that work is getting done, taking advantage of and doing volunteer opportunities and just kind of different things in the community and in church and ministry to just make sure that everything is humming along.
There's plenty of things out there willing to take your time if they'll let it.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
And they will take as much as you're willing to have. It's just like you said, work, kids' activities, errands, chores, It's just, there's so much. And it can really be hard to find time to just be a couple. So then you plan a date night or you plan a couple's vacation, but you're so exhausted that, you had dinner together, but you never really connected. Or, you spent a weekend at a nice hotel or a nice resort, but you spent most of the time sleeping because you just, frankly, your body needed the rest.
Sure.
The pace of modern life, it just makes connection seem optional. And if it's optional, then it's probably not going to happen.
Why? Because you can just opt out of that, right?
Exactly. It's like, we'll get to it at some point.
Right. And couples a lot of times will assume intimacy happens, when we have time. But spoiler alert, you never do have time, right? So a lot of times...
Have time, right.
A lot of times we can confuse that physical proximity with emotional connection, but, people, and I mean, we see this all the time where people are spaced out on their phones in restaurants and, they're there with each other, but they're not actually there together with each other because they're kind of like focused on very separate things.
Well, I mean, there have been times when you and I have both been at a coffee house and you've been working and I've been working. And we've been physically really close because those coffee house tables are really small.
Sure.
But we didn't connect for that 2 hours we were there because our minds were focused on something completely else, which we planned on it.
Right. And we were happy to be in each other's presence and have that experience, but it wasn't that purposeful connection.
Exactly.
We have coached coached couples who have said, we haven't had a fight in years, but it's like, that's not always a good sign if it means you've stopped engaging together, or the idea is, this bothers me and I think that we could improve some things around, but it's just not worth it. Because you've just stopped engaging with each other at all.
Yeah, really, couples' marriages fall apart not really because of crisis, but because of busyness and lack of connection. Often a crisis moment will be the catalyst for to end a marriage, but that crisis moment came because of all these small little lack of connection opportunities. The busyness just built up over time, and then there was a crisis, and your marriage wasn't strong enough to that crisis. I mean, you haven't been working out your marriage muscles, so when you actually needed to use them, they weren't healthy.
Right. It's like the death by 1,000 cuts, or there was a TV show that was on for many seasons called A Million Little Things, and it was talking about friendship. It's not about, the one or two big things. It's about these million little things, and I think that that's true in a marriage as well.
The happiest couples don't wait for the big moments. It's not the date night. It's not the couple's vacation. It's not the anniversary romantic night at the hotel. The happiest couples, the healthiest couples are the ones that build tiny sacred moments of connection throughout the day, every day.
Yes. And that was inspired by an article that we read by Dr. Mark Travers, and we'll post the link in the podcast notes so that you can take a look at that yourself. And the first one was build that mini morning routine together. This is something where it could be hour-long prayer session at 4 a.m.
No,
probably not.
And
that's not going to be for us. And I mean, if that works for you, fantastic, love it. Wouldn't tell you to stop it, but for a lot of people, that's just not really something that's possible. But it could.
That was supposed to be a joke in the outline, by the way, audience. But I failed to put the whole point. I just left hour-long prayer session at 4 a.m. And so it's okay to be honest about the outline.
But I think that what we were really kind of looking at is just, having these smaller moments of connection there. The idea of sitting together while you're drinking your morning coffee. This might be a short walk around the neighborhood before you head into work. For some people, it might be taking a couple minutes to cuddle before you get out of bed. You might be praying together, not for hours, right? This could be making the bed together, or just having something that becomes that kind of a routine of connection there. But the main point is to share that moment of calm before the chaos of the day.
Lamentations 3:22-23 says, "The Lord's loyal kindness never ceases. His compassions never end. They are fresh every morning. Your faithfulness is abundant." Just take time in the morning and experience that fresh compassion together. Another thing, check in throughout the day. The happiest couples, the healthiest couples, don't just text about milk and when to pick up the kids or the logistics. They share encouragement. They share humor. It's just a little thinking of you. Memes and reels count, guys. You can send memes. You can send reels. Cat videos are Jen's love language.
Yeah, add that one in there, Gary Chapman. Yeah, that's right. Cat videos, that's right. Because that's a way to tell your spouse that they're your person, even in your workday world, because you just took a moment to think of your spouse and just kind of send your spouse something that's just kind of silly or funny, and it helps keep that connection alive even when you're not together.
Yeah, just little things here. It's just that reminder. And what you're doing with that is when the notification goes off on a phone and you pick it up and look at it, you get a dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. That's why our phones are so stinking addictive. Well, now you're connecting that dopamine hit with your marriage and with your love for each other. And you're connecting those and building that stronger connection through that device and through what you're doing. Hebrews 3:13 says, "Be encouraging to one another daily, as long as is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness." A little encouragement throughout the day will bring you closer even when you're physically apart.
And also make time to reset individually. You can't
This is so important.
Yeah, you just can't pour into your marriage if your own tank is on empty. So some ways for you to be able to reset, this might be you're reading a book. This might be you're going out on a walk. And, we've talked about this in recent podcasts that even Jesus took time alone to rest and to recharge. And, if the creator of the universe, who literally holds everything together, is taking time alone to rest and recharge, you got to do that for yourself as well.
Yeah, if you want to give your spouse the best of you, that means time away to unwind so you can be fully present together. There is a difference in quality and quantity. If Jen and I are together, but my brain is somewhere else, and we've noticed this. It's like, okay, where are you right now? We can be together, but if we're not engaging with each other, we're not connecting. And it's frankly, it's not fun. It's not pleasurable. It's just like, oh yeah. And that's not healthy or helpful. It's frankly just draining.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think it's important, too, that you're prioritizing this together time and you're guarding it, because the happiest couples do carve out one intentional moment per day. So dinner without screens, I think that's fabulous to be able to do. And if you have children, that's a very good example for them that we're doing dinner. There are no screens around. Thank you very much. I mean, if you have a movie night, if you're watching a big sports event upon occasion, I don't think that that's a big deal. But by and large, having dinner be that sacred screen-free time is an awesome thing.
So Detroit, it's okay to have the Lions game on during Thanksgiving dinner.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Watching a show together and actually talking about it, not just, being numbly entertained, but being able to just say, hey, what did you think of what happened on that? And oh my goodness, what's this particular character doing? And were you surprised by this? Did this kind of stray from what you thought the character's character was?
Or just what was funny about it. I mean, if it's just a silly sitcom, I mean, there may not be a lot of depth to it.
Sure.
But just, hey, that made me laugh, or just talk about what's going on with the characters. But the fact is, it's using that to engage. A quick walk around the block after dinner. Just taking some time. That's something that Jen and I really enjoy doing as much as we can. Living in Michigan, it starts getting darker early and colder, but we try to make a point to do that when we can, because it's just such a moment of connection. And for us and our lifestyle, having a daughter away at college and a high school son, it's better for us to be able to connect one-on-one if we leave the house for a little bit, because it's not the constant mom, dad, or we're not hearing whatever kind of craziness our son's doing on his video game with his friends.
That's right.
And he's just having a wonderful time, but it's distracting from the conversation. And so being able to just get away and be alone together. We love doing the walks.
Yeah, and we had mentioned Bryon right now is recovering from surgery on his big toe, and he's got the walking boots. So maybe I just need to fireman carry you around the neighborhood. I mean, if that happens, we will post video.
That would, definitely be closer.
No doubt about it. But, again, these quiet walks doesn't have to be romantic, just has to be real. Have an ambulance on site for me in case I can't actually make that fireman carry. Thank you very much. But
fortunately, there are doctors in the neighborhood.
That's right. We have a next door neighbor. Thank you very much. End of the day, quiet check-in. Take a moment to touch base with and communicate that you care. Sometimes you're sharing a gratitude or a need or a prayer. I think that can come into place if you're praying together towards the end of the day and having that conversation there as well.
And make sure that works, like that end of the day connection. Make sure that works for your circadian rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm tired, I like to cuddle, and I'll often be more lovey-dovey and talk. When Jen's tired, she just wants to go to sleep. And it's funny because we'll go
yeah,
to...
that's really funny, actually.
We'll go to bed, and I'll be saying things and just trying to be, like, loving and stuff. And you're like, okay, that's great. Now let's go to sleep.
Yeah, it's like, that's adorable. I'm exhausted. And I mean, yeah. And
So,
I'm really sorry about that.
There's
This
nothing
is
to
your
apologize.
public apology, Bryon. It's like, oh.
But there's nothing to apologize for. But my point in that is, for us, like, the check-in, lying down in bed before we go to sleep and like talking to each other, checking in, would be probably one of the worst times.
At least for me.
For us, because you're not going to engage. We're not going to connect. So you need to make sure that end of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean right before bed. Maybe it's right after dinner. Maybe
Sure.
it's after, if you have children, maybe it's right after you put the kids to bed before you do whatever the rest of the nightly routine is. Finding that place is good, but think about what's going to work best for you. And same thing with the morning routine. Jen jokes that she does her Bible study first thing in the morning because Jesus is the only one who can handle her before she's had her coffee.
That's true.
So
That has not been proven otherwise.
and we're all afraid to try to test that theory. So.
Oh, dear.
But make sure it works for you and your spouse. If you're a morning person and your spouse is a night person, then that's not really going to be conducive to those times a day. So you smush those together somehow. And maybe the morning thing is a check-in just before you get in the car and go to work. And maybe the evening thing is checking in while you're doing dishes after dinner, not necessarily right before bed or as you're going to bed. You want to make sure you're maximizing the time that you have together and not trying to build connection in a time that's going to be ineffective.
Because the reality is, right, you can't survive on one big breath every few weeks or a really nice meal once a week. You need to eat, you need to breathe throughout the day, every day. Your marriage needs the same kind of attention. You don't grow closer by having a weekly date night or annual romantic getaway. I mean, those are nice. It's a good thing to do, but it's these little moments every day that truly nourish your marriage. Pick one of these 5 habits to start off with, and I'd say see what you can do to work your way into the other 4 to add to that first one, and practice that one of these 5 habits every day for 2 weeks, and tell your spouse what a difference it makes, and move into the others, because the goal isn't just surviving another week together, it's growing closer together day by day and building that healthy, thriving marriage.
Thank you for listening to Operation Thriving Marriage. We appreciate all you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd appreciate if you rated, subscribed, and shared it with one of your friends. God bless you.
Jen and I started Operation Thriving Marriage to help couples and churches take marriages from merely surviving to thriving. We've got our book, we've got a blog, and resources for our coaching ministry, and you can bring us out for an Operation Thriving Marriage experience. For more information, go to operationthrivingmarriage.com. That's operationthrivingmarriage.com.